Good morning, all. Good morning. Yeah. Um, Today I am going to be working with the Morning Calm Oracle by the Shaman Choi. And um, these these oracles have come into my life in a personal way. And they just came in a few days ago, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. Normally nervous about filming. I'm nervous about working with this deck because I know it is going to be pretty potent. Um, a little bit about Seo Choi. She is a Korean shaman, and she does like classes and teachings, and the best way to describe her is a like modern shaman. I really appreciate her approach to spirituality and how she chooses to use her gifts. And she's very empowered. I mean, literally, she's like the badass shaman, right? And I think she's found a way to really appeal to kind of the needs of like modern times. One thing I just wanted to touch on is, what is a shaman, right? What is shamanism? And so a shaman is, especially among certain tribal people, a person who acts as an intermediary between the natural and the supernatural worlds, using magic to cure illness, foretell the future, and control spiritual forces. So this is a big deal for me personally. I've only been in this process journey about a month, been doing YouTube for about 2 weeks. And like I say, like there's things going on in the background. So now I'm cultivating knowledge, not just about shamanism, but other sort of forms of spiritual practice, particularly in Eastern and Southeastern cultures. And so anyway, when someone shared that this oracle deck existed, and then when I went to look and see what it was actually about, I knew I had to have it, and I knew I would be using it to kind of address a more profound theme. So today, I may be jumping around a bit, or at least I think I am, because there's so much to cover. Basically, I was told to, do a process around themes of ego, attachment, impermanence. And then that's sort of like, oh, it's like everything just opens up even more to like learn and ingest and take in. But as I was preparing this morning, I was very grateful to see a through line, which is this: today we will do a spread from actually Shaman Seo Choi's guidebook, with the intention of exploring ideas of ego. That's how I've been guided. And so before I jump into that card spread, I also want to share like the supporting stone. And this is not a heart. This is, a very different and more so appropriate stone for today. This is lodolite, often called the shamanic dreamstone. And if you can notice, there's all these inclusions. This one is really faceted, which really, like, again, just spoke to me when I was crystal hunting. It is a rare variety of quartz containing unique mineral inclusions that resemble gardens, right? Landscapes. Ooh, okay. And underwater scenes. So, I mean, if I had to have like a favorite, I don't listen to this. I do not have a favorite crystal. But for today, this will be my favorite crystal. The Shamanic Dreamstone, okay? These mesmerizing inclusions make lodolite a powerful crystal for meditation, manifestation, and connecting with higher realms, and supports the crown, third eye, and heart chakras. So, I hope things are lit well enough. Anyway, ooh. Again, I got this stone before even knowing about these cards, and now I have both. So welcome to the process, okay? Beautiful. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna get distracted. Okay, so what's really interesting about this oracle deck, the Morning Calm Oracle, is not only does it have the oracle cards, but it also has, I'm going to move this aside, it also has, oh, wait for it, these separate cards are called Sigil cards, okay? And what Sigil means, yes, I did my research, an inscribed or painted symbol considered to have magical powers. So the way they are described in the guidebook is kind of like super boosters, okay? And this is sort of a practice within Korean shamanism as well. And so these sigil cards, right? They'll add something more to this process. And so I'll go ahead, and like I said, I just opened these and I'm trying to decide if I merge them or follow the recommendation to do the card spread and then perhaps pull a sigil card to emphasize that reading. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so then I will go ahead and respectfully move those over there and go ahead and describe our card spread. Okay, so for today's card spread, this is going to be another 3-card spread, but the themes will be outer self, shadow self, guidance for moving forward. Remember, the energetic theme will be around ego. And again, ego is in Western culture, right? Kind of definition of the self. And if we get into like Freudian psychology, we have id, ego, super ego, right? So it's like that rational part of the mind versus the extremes, or it's the conscious part of the mind. I'm not going with that. The idea of ego for this process is more in the energy, okay, of thinking of the ego as an illusory self. The ego is considered a mental construct, a system of labels and names that creates a false sense of an individual, a separate self, okay? And in this idea, this definition of ego, attachment to this egoic identity is seen as a source of bondage, self-deception, and conflict, a source of suffering. Again, this sense of I, right? This clinginess, this, I just did a video on attachment styles. So now this is more of a broader idea of, more philosophical idea of attachment. you know, the illusion of the I, right? The sense of I is not a permanent, coherent self, but a narrative we construct to cling to. And then that creates the suffering, right? Because clinging, again, it generates fear. It generates fear of loss, right? Fear of missing out. FOMO, if you will, is another kind of form of egoic kind of attachment. And so therefore, that is sort of the energy I'm bringing into today's journey. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so now let me use my little notes here to remind me. Okay, 3-card spread. So therefore, let's pick 3 cards. Hopefully we get 3 cards. Okay, again, we take what we're given. All right, and I cannot wait to see these images. Spoiler, when I got my cards, I got some beautiful actual examples of illustrations aside from the cards, so like little personal art. I believe they are images from the deck itself, so I didn't want to share those. I thought about it, but if they're not, then I'll be more than happy to you know, share those. But I do think, again, we're going to see them, and if we don't, you know, that's okay too. Okay, getting excited. All right, let's see. One more. Yes, get in there. Come on. Okay, sorry. Cards. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, we are now looking at outer self. Outer self. Just thinking, what is that supposed to mean for us? Outer self. How others see us? What we project to others? What we allow others to see? Outer self. What do we need to know about the outer, okay. What do we need to know about, well, these are getting kind of beaten up. Okay, what do we need to know about the outer self? Wow, nothing? Something? Maybe? Okay, let's use you for outer self. Okay, now shadow self. Don't want to say that cards don't want to talk to me, but they're like, who are you? What are you doing with us? I don't know. I'm sorry, I do not know. But that's part of the learning process, right? Outer self, and now shadow self. Come on. Okay. Let's see how many cards just came out there. Well. What do I do? This. Ooh, I was really tempted to go in and reshuffle, but I think I have to earn it with these cards. So let's go ahead and, yeah, these are getting beat up. Okay, so those are 2 here. 1, 2, 4. Interesting. Okay, outer self, shadow self, guidance moving forward. Let's now look at outer self. Oh, I lead with joy. The outer self, right? Moving forward, right? Being one with nature, being connected to nature, being connected to the world, the outer self, leading with joy, right? How you present yourself to others, right? When you come across someone and you are in an energy of joy, how could they not also then remember they can feel joy as well? Okay. Ooh, okay. Outer self. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, okay. Shadow self. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm getting goosebumps. Ooh. Oh. Oh, wow. Mmm. Mmm. Shadow self. Reincarnation. And the goddess Kuan Yin. Okay. I'm like, that's right, there's a guidebook. Okay. Before I continue, Seo Choi, the shaman, had this artist from Indonesia, Ludia Yap. This is her artwork. So I love these sort of collaborations between, Oracle creators and then sourcing or knowing these like really just amazing artists, and to kind of bring together, right, the visions to elicit, right, the power of what we're trying to understand. So reincarnation. Okay, that is card number 30. Let me see. Reincarnation. There is an energy of reincarnation in your field right now. This is an opportunity for you to bring fresh new life into your work, purpose, situation, relationship, etc. If you were creating an opportunity of reincarnation into a new life, what would it look like? So for shadow self, this is, ooh, okay. This card also suggests past life wisdom. There is a message, insight, or healing that can be discovered through exploring your past lives. That's a territory I'm starting to learn a little more about, and a little fearful, right? Here I am working on not attaching to fear, but it is the unknown, and it is also being introduced in a way, in a context that is like, oh, I see why there is that is part of it, right? Like acknowledging whether it is past life energies, we talk about like interracial kind of understanding, like interracial trauma, interracial sort of impact, but also the strengths, the struggles, the resilience, the magic, right, of our ancestors. But then also we start dabbling into this life or death territory, which, okay. Yes. I'm tiptoeing right into it, but not all at once, please. Not all at once. Okay. I call in the magic of new life and reincarnation into my life. It is safe for me to create and grow. Ooh. So perhaps a belief in reincarnation is the ultimate empowerment. It is like, I know I get to do this again and again and again and again. So what is there to lose, right? And look, leading with joy, like, right? Like I'm not attached to this life's outcome. This is just a learning experience. I'm ready for more in the next life. Ooh, okay. Wow. Cool. Okay. I do want to read on the messaging for beautiful Kuan Yin. Okay. More compassion. avoid indifference. So there's a difference between detachment versus indifference, right? You can detach without losing care, without losing compassion. So Kuan Yin, for those that don't know, right, is the goddess of compassion. You are being asked to look at a situation or relationship with compassion. Bring more empathy and kindness into your heart. The opposite of compassion is indifference. Consider if there is any area in your life that you are being indifferent. Whoa. How could you intentionally move closer to the vibration of compassion? This card may also mean that Kuan Yin is presenting herself as one of your spirit guides. Ooh, you know, lucky us, lucky me, right? Like, bring it. I love Kuan Yin. I have a bit of Kuan Yin stuff right behind me, but I can't show that. I channel Kuan Yin and her endless compassion into my being. So remember, we're looking at ego in this process, and indifference is an egoic like adjustment style, something, right? We think we're taking care of the self, but what we're doing is we're denying the connection into abundance of connection and love, and of expansive, energetic joy. You know, compassion, I always describe compassion as this endless energetic resource. You know, people think compassion is, and maybe in Western, you know, self-care, healing, whatever. Compassion, you know, isn't this thing we do or give, right? Compassion is a state of presence that reminds you that you are also part of the, you know, the equation, right? I always say that compassion is like a lotus, right? And all the petals, they're not just pointing to others, they're also pointing to us. So we have to remember, right, that compassion is also about our own self-compassion, right? How we talk to ourselves, how we treat ourselves, how we value ourselves. Something I did want to share is, so very recently in my kind of thinking, right, I would catch myself like get kind of overwhelmed with all this stuff coming in, and I was like, I can't do this, I can't do that. And immediately it was like I would get this like zzz, right, like you know, can't is no longer in your vocabulary is kind of how it comes through. And it's almost like Pavlov's dog. So now whenever my brain thinks can't, it's like this. And it's so crazy. It's yeah, it's bizarre, but it's happening. And what it's doing, it's reinforcing me to remove can't from my like mindset. And it's great. It's like, now I don't go to this like can't tight kind of restrictive energy. It's like, okay, I don't have to do it right now. I don't have to do it all right now, but I can do it. Of course I can do it. And so it's like, you just figure it out. That seems to be like, if I, you know, the spirit guides, whoever, whatever this energy is for me, that's their message. Figure it out. You can figure it out. You are figuring it out. And that confirmation is more than enough. Okay, thank you. Now we are moving into guidance for moving forward. Okay, that's a little more cut and dry. Thank you. But we've got 4 cards, so loads of guidance. Thank you, Morning Oracle. Wow. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay. Dragon spirit, yes. Oh, lead. Ooh. small family. Okay. And, you know, maybe I'll do it like this so we have enough space. Okay. Okay. Guidance for moving forward. Oh, yes. Yes. Seo Choi also encourages to, again, right? Follow your intuition. Allow this to be, oh no. Okay. You're all like, what's going on? What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. I'm not sharing everything that's going on in my mind, okay? Just yesterday I had a conversation with a friend and we were talking about, you know, dragon energy, becoming a dragon, right? Like all the fire is like compassion. That's literally how I described it. But this card, okay, if these are geese, I just spent my morning, I took a walk and I came across, you know, a bunch of geese. And so those are things I don't ignore anymore, to be honest. I'm yeah, I'm not ignoring that there is relationship with the connecting to nature, connecting to also the creatures of nature, sharing space with the creatures of nature, learning from the creatures of nature. They're in unison, they're following their leader, they're trusting their leader, right? And honestly, right, because they're family. There's something beautiful in this, right, about being in a collective. And a family, whether it is your immediate family, whether it is your extended family, whether it is your soul family, something about being in a collective, right? People you care about, people who care about you, people who are there for you in the hard times as well, right? To not feel alone in the egoic suffering. There we go. Back to this, you know, focus on ego. Because remember, ego, you know, again, if it is about the self not connecting to others, then you are alone, right? But if you remove the barriers of self in a way that feels safe and loving and warm and abundant, then you become a part of something larger. You become, you know, able to feel, you know, buoyed, supported, excited. What is this journey we're going on? I can't wait because we're doing it together. Yeah, okay. Integrity. Integrity. Okay, I see you, you see me. I like what I see. I know what I see. I value what I see. I'm not ashamed. I'm not apologizing for who I am. I am all of me. Tattoos, right? Pride, letting not just for that individual to say, yeah, these are my symbols. These are my values. I'm wearing my values. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. Bird, spider web, arrow, moon. Really, there's flower, right? There's cool things going on with the tattoos alone, right? But again, just this is compassion, right? This is being your own best friend. This is like, we've got this, right? Sometimes your own self-talk is like your own, like, you know, boost as well, right? Like, you're fine. We've got this. I love you. You're great. I can't wait to see what we can do, right? Ooh, okay. And so, yeah, with compassion, we can move forward, right? With less ego, right? Less I'm looking at these definitions, right? Less comparison, right? Less, you know, I'm going to be mindful of the word selfishness, because I don't think that's quite what I'm trying to say. Indifference perhaps is a better term to use, right? When we walk in the world not caring about our impact, that is the opposite of compassion. How do we increase that awareness of others that feels, you know, in alignment to our integrity? I love this. I love this. We can go on and on and on. We will not, but wow. Now I'm very excited about these, like, Sigil cards, because remember, picking a card to super boost this is already super boosted. How does this get any, you know, like, juicier? I mean, it's so good, right? But oh, who knows, right? Let's find out. Oh, okay. Interesting. How do I shuffle so few cards? I don't know. Like I said, I've witnessed where, you know, people have done readings where they just intuitively, like, pick their cards or count their cards. I mean, I may try that out at some point. I don't think it right now, it doesn't feel like the right thing for me to do. But like I said, and I will not call these cards stubborn. I will call these cards, like, you know, they're like, you better be ready for what I have to give you. And like I said, I'm needing to earn it. That's the sense I'm getting. Look at this. Nothing wants to come out. Okay. One. Do I just take this one? I'm afraid. Yes. Let's just take this one. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'll have to process that. These are not your normal, like, shuffle deck, okay? Ooh. Okay. Again, a symbol considered to have magical power. Wow. Divine masculine. Ooh. Oh. Remember, we all have divine feminine, divine masculine. Divine, let's see, I did all this. There we go. I tabbed the stuff. Yay. Okay, sorry. Oh, okay. Remember, we got lead, okay? Integrity, lead. We've got lead twice. Okay. Divine masculine, spirit guide, warrior general. Okay? Warrior general. Someone who is leading the charge. Okay? Maybe you are the leader. Okay? They're following the dragon spirit. Okay. Element is fire. Okay? Passion. Fire. Dragon. Oh, wow. Okay. 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 This sigil used for amplifying masculine energy, inviting elemental power of fire, not giving us a shortcut at all, Morning Calm Oracle. Wow. These cards, this card, these sigil cards, they are like literally challenging my intuition, because they're like, that's all you got. Figure it out. Figure it out, right? Ooh. Fire. Passion. I'm thinking of, again, the elements in, well, we have the elements in tarot, we have the elements in, the zodiac signs, but in this like energy of this, how to move forward. Well, maybe it's a little more simplistic than I'm giving it credit for, right? How to move forward with fire. Yeah. Blaze a trail, right? But blaze a trail with compassion. Lead with joy, right? In this integrity, in this grounded, again, right? Presence, right? The ego can get in the way of being, just being, right? Being in the moment, right? The ego is like, someone called it like monkey brain on a reading, right? Where it's like all the worries, all the shoulds, all the, worrying about how other people see you or judge you. And all your your choices are then sort of attached, right, to the external, right? And then you start monitoring and self-censoring, and you're no longer in this, state of integrity, this state of compassion, this state of connection, right? This state of joy, right? You have all this just barrier to this, real, true connection to the divine, right? Whew. Well, I'm feeling pretty connected to the divine, right? And it makes sense that that's what we're going to get out of, the oracles created by an actual shaman, right? Someone who is also leading with joy, right? Trying to transform energetic suffering, trying to heal those that feel alone. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Wow. Okay. Ooh. All right. Thank you for coming into this energy today. And thank you for witnessing the power, what's the word I'm looking for? The connection between the natural and the supernatural worlds. All right? Yeah. Okay. Take good care. Bye-bye.